You know that feeling when you open a book and it's not just a story, it's a world, a living, breathing world? Well, today we're going to journey into a really complex and fascinating science fiction universe from Brazil called Universos Fragmentados. And we're going to explore why this creation doesn't just ask to be read, it asks you to help weave it.
All right, so let's dive right in. To really get what this universe is all about, you got to understand its incredible range. And the best way to do that is to look at the two very different entry points into this world. So on one hand, you've got Metade em Chamas, which translates to half in flames. This is pure, visceral, neon-soaked cyberpunk, set in a futuristic and pretty dystopian Sao Paulo. You're talking flying cars, nano-implants, the whole 9 yards.
And then, talk about a complete 180, you have A Vermelha, or the Red Snow. We jump from this sprawling, chaotic city to the cold, brutal quiet of a thriller in a snow-covered wilderness. This contrast isn't just for style points, it's the author telling us right from the start just how ambitious and massive this whole thing is going to be.
I mean, just look at this. This is the world of Metade em Chamas. It's set way in the future, 2879, in a São Paulo that's literally split into upper and lower levels. Every single street corner is just overflowing with holographic ads, body mods, and this constant tension between incredible tech and just deep societal rot.
But here's the thing. All this cyberpunk flash and thriller grit, that's just the surface level. Underneath these genres that we know and love lies a really radical philosophy. The author, Mirella Ricardo Granado, isn't just writing exciting stories. She sees this project as something way, way more profound.
So, what is this profound idea? Well, this is the very soul of the whole creation. To really, truly understand Universos Fragmentados, you have to get this one core concept. The work is a living organism. This one sentence shows up at the beginning of every single book. This work is a living organism. And she's not being metaphorical here. This is the literal guiding principle for the entire universe. It's meant to breathe, to grow, and to change.
And an idea like that completely changes the creator's role, right? She doesn't even call herself an author. Instead, she uses the Portuguese word tecelão, which means weaver. She sees her job not as inventing a story from scratch, but as channeling and weaving a universe that already exists beyond the page, and her role is to be its guardian. Okay, so if you believe your work is alive, that's going to lead to some incredibly bold creative choices. And one of the biggest, most out-there choices she made was to completely ditch our standard calendar. She actually calls our Gregorian calendar the anti-calendar. She sees it as this rigid, abstract grid that disconnects us from nature. So, in its place, she created the Lunisolar Gaia calendar, a system that's literally woven from the real, observable cycles of the sun, the moon, the tides, even the human body. Time stops being a straight line and becomes a living spiral.
And this isn't just some super nerdy world-building detail for the sake of it. It's a really powerful statement about how these artificial systems we live by control how we see reality. In her universe, time is a tangible, living force, just like everything else.
All right, so we've got a living universe and a living system of time. But what's it all for? What is the story actually about? Well, that brings us to the thematic heart of it all, the awakening of the wolf. This is where all that intricate world building starts to serve a much deeper, mythological purpose.
The stories are all driven by these really powerful archetypal themes, and central to everything is the journey of the loba, the she-wolf. She's a symbol of this wild, untamed feminine power and instinct that's been suppressed for centuries and is now fighting to be reclaimed.
And what's so cool is that the author literally gives us the keys to unlock this whole layer of the story. At the end of A Vermelha, there's a recommended reading list. It's basically a cheat sheet for understanding the work's mythological and feminist soul, with books like Women Who Run with the Wolves sitting right there at the top. And this philosophy gets woven directly into the text in some really powerful ways. For example, she explicitly writes a character's menstrual cycle into the story. And as she explains it, this isn't just some biological detail. It's an act that returns to the feminine the right to mark time with its own blood. It's about reclaiming a natural biological rhythm as a way of keeping time. So, after all of this, a living organism, a whole new calendar, this deep mythology, we can finally circle back to our original question. What makes this universe so special? And why is it something worth helping translate and bring to a much wider audience? The answer lies in one final and absolutely crucial concept the author introduces, kutesser, which basically means to co-weave. According to this philosophy, when you sit down with one of these books, you're not just a passive consumer. You're not just downloading a finished product into your brain. You are an active participant. Your thoughts, your dreams, your interpretations, they all become a part of this living thing.
And this, right here, is the answer. Thus, each reading also becomes a co-weaving. To translate this work, to share it, to talk about it, these aren't just acts of appreciation, they are acts of co-creation. You're being invited to pick up a thread and help weave the tapestry of this universe, to help it grow.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought, doesn't it? We usually think of stories as these finished things we just consume. But what if a story is an invitation to build something with the creator? That idea completely changes how we think about reading and translation and our role in helping a living universe like this one find its voice all over the world.